Hey YouTube, RicoKnows here. Going to talk to you guys about Savon Wilkerson hitting the transfer portal. If you follow the channel for a while, you already know that last offseason, Savon Wilkerson was a late addition to Colorado's running back room. And before he transferred, I remember doing episodes on YouTube Live. You can go back and find them. But I was doing live streams, and I was telling people of the available players, I didn't think Savon Wilkerson was FBS caliber. Not just Power 5 caliber, but I didn't think he was FBS caliber. And I got a lot of backlash. A lot of you Colorado fans are passionate. A lot of you guys are, very informed on former Jackson State players because you've been following Coach Prime since the jump and all this shit. And you went out there and told me this, and I said, no, I just don't see it, guys. I see a 1,000-yard rusher. I get it. He rushed for over 1,100 yards or 1,000 yards at Jackson State. What is it? 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. But what you see here is what you're going to see, and I've been talking about this with like Rashad Amos. Same thing. A young man plays his ass off at a lower echelon, and then people just assume, yeah, he can do that again. He can reduplicate that. And then they'll blame the offensive line. They'll blame the offensive scheme, the lack of touches, the lack of, chance and opportunity. But if you were really like that, if this was a 1,000-yard rusher, he would have been the starter. He would have earned the carries. They wouldn't have hit the transfer portal for more running backs. They wouldn't have gone into this offseason looking for answers in the running back room as opposed to just trusting that you have the answer on your team. So you then hit the transfer portal. You're not getting all the opportunities. You're not being developed properly, whatever it is. Look, guys, the sky isn't falling, but the reality is you brought in certain players that aren't of a certain caliber. And they're either starting to realize it, you're starting to realize it as coaching staff or as talent evaluators, and then you're left with the aftermath. And the aftermath is, was Savon Wilkerson any depth to the room? Sure. But was he any better than Michael Welch? Probably not. Definitely won't be in a couple years or so. But before you guys ever start saying, oh, this is a solid running back or this is a good player and all this stuff, I mean, you got to look at the hard numbers. You got to look at the information provided. And you really have to sit down and say to yourself, like, have you ever broken down a running back room on other teams? Have you ever looked at other running backs outside of your favorite team or the guys that you rock with because they're at your favorite school? Like, have you ever sat down and compared them to a different skill set? Because it's night and day. It really is. And when I look at Savon Wilkerson, I never once thought he should be at Colorado. I think having the hookup and knowing the coaching staff and the players and the team, that's how he got there. This is a young man that probably doesn't belong at this echelon. And that's just me keeping it real. I think that should have parlayed Jackson State into something in the Sun Belt, something in the MAC, something of that nature. He's that caliber of back at best. Probably I would have went to like an elite FCS school, if anything, and kept my yards going. There's nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, this young man, shout out to him. He's from Chicago, willing to travel and play anywhere. I just don't see a lot of opportunities on another FBS team, if you ask me. In my assessment of this young man's talent, I think McNeese State is a quality location, right? Not northern Illinois, but fucking northern Iowa. Something like that. So it'll take some work, but we'll see what happens. I just don't necessarily see the 1,000-yard rusher that all you saw. I still have never seen it. I've never been impressed like that. I mean, I watched the tape and I just thought he wasn't of that caliber. And I'm sorry if when I give my assessments, you guys feel like I'm dragging someone. I'm not. Actually, shouldn't apologize. I'm not sorry. It's unfortunate that you, as consumers, say, oh, Rico, why are you dragging him? Bruh, if I'm not singing his praises, it's because I'm not his parent, right? Fucking parents go around and only say positive things to these people and convince them that they're great. I will sit down and give an unbiased, a very objective opinion on things, and sometimes it's a scale. Sometimes you guys can't handle it. Sometimes I'll say the player's great. There's a running back. I'm going to give you guys an example. Devon Booth. Devon Booth is a former JUCO running back, just left Utah State and jumped in the transfer portal. Do you guys have any clue how great that man is and how excited I am that he may potentially end up at a Power 4 school? That somebody might put him in the running back room as a change of pace back. This is like one of the 3 running backs at Utah State last year. But he's that good on tape, and I think that highly of him because I've watched him individually and said that kid could play anywhere. If I have never felt that way about another player, if I didn't feel that way about Wilkerson or Amos or anybody, like, don't hold that against me. I just evaluate talent, bro. I just look at tape. And some people get anointed and some people don't. And I don't give a shit about some websites. I don't care about some Twitter followers. I do my assessment independent of all that. So I'm just telling you, like, some people will get the stamp of approval, and then some people I'll say, hey, man, that guy's not good enough. I'm not dragging him. It's just an opposing opinion of somebody. It's not dragging anybody. Your friends don't know. But I do. Drag all you bitches.